Hello everybody, I'm cocoacosmos, and if you couldn't tell already, I've been going through some old YouTube comments I've gotten, old ideas I had saved, and have been getting some of your requests done. Finally. This video would fall under ideas I had saved, but since I already done this video, it felt a bit redundant to do. I wanted to do an interest check just in case though, and a few of you still wanted me to talk about the relationship independently. So, if nothing else, this would serve as a bit of a timeline for those who like this pairing. Let's get started. We're first introduced to Margaret in the episode Caffeinated Concert Tickets. She herself has a very minimal role in all this. She serves as motivation for Mordecai to work himself ragged for concert tickets to a band named Fist Pump. Every time Mordecai thinks he can't work anymore, Margaret walks by and he tries his very best to get a second wind. He clearly has a huge crush on her. This sets up the potential for her to become a love interest later. Unfortunately, he had to wait a bit because conveniently, or devastatingly to Mordecai, she had a boyfriend who she brought to the concert as her date. Actually, we never see her boyfriends unless Mordecai has done some sort of nonsense to get her attention as some big grand secret gesture. Like that time Mordecai and Rigby invented their band.
No, we're not in a band.
So what, it's some sort of fake band?
Margaret was already dating a guitarist during this whole thing. Tragic. But speaking of Mordecai nonsense, anyone who has seen the show knows Mordecai is always doing something insane when Margaret gets involved. Take that "I'm nervous around my crush" feeling, amplify it by 20, then add a dash of paralyzing fear and overthinking. That's Mordecai. While he's trying to court her, he always fulfills the self-made prophecy of humiliating himself in front of her or ruining everything. If you assume a situation is gonna go bad, but there's no obvious reason to think so, like if you don't have any experiences to suggest otherwise, it's probably gonna go bad because you're trying to overcorrect. Example, Mordecai trying to kiss Margaret for the first 2 times. He went through a time travel fiasco just to not kiss her in the end the first time. Then the second, he got so nervous about kissing her after a movie that he overdid it with breath freshener so much that he started a blizzard and had to wear a diaper because he lost a bet with Muscleman and Rigby that he wouldn't kiss her. Every time he had an opening, he avoided it because he thought it would go bad or ruin anything. Then before that, when he was just hanging out with her, he thought she was getting engaged, which, okay, reasonable assumption saying this, but Benson said it best here.
You don't have the right to be sad. You never even had the guts to tell Margaret how you feel.
Turns out, it was classic misunderstanding, but then this made him forget all about the plans he made with CJ. Like, his mind was completely wiped and Margaret took back over immediately and no one else mattered. Terrible. He was just doing entirely too much. Well, Margaret realized that he was never gonna make the move, to the extent that the term pulling a Mordecai was created later, and took matters into her own hands. This would make you think the feelings are mutual, right? Everyone is now on the same page that they like each other, right? Mordecai hesitates yet again when he gets the opportunity to make the first move this time, and gets them shipped to friendship purgatory, where he's literally forced to make a move. This really and for truly makes absolutely zero sense. You've already kissed before, and she was the one that initiated. Nothing is stopping you but you at this point. From this point, things are going pretty well. He meets the family, and her tough exterior dad ends up liking Mordecai and even shaking his hand after they meet. Not without drastic measures, but hey. They date each other for a bit, and they've kissed a couple times, so Mordecai decides it's time to make things official. But here's the kicker. Mordecai plans this romantic dinner to ask her to be his girlfriend. The night goes left due to circumstances out of his control, but nothing could have prepared him for her saying no when he finally asks her. She got into her dream school and got her acceptance letter right before the date, which is why she was a bit late arriving. She truly wanted to be his girlfriend, but she wanted to pursue her journalism degree at the school way more. He drops her off at the airport, and this puts an end to their romantic relationship. This has been referred to as a breakup, but I'm one of those people that doesn't believe you're in a relationship until you ask for that commitment. So in my eyes, they technically weren't together. But then there's the urgent matter at hand when he finds one of Margaret's sweaters in his laundry.
Don't do it!
Margaret's sweater. She left it here for me to find. I have to give it back to her.
In pure Mordecai fashion, he drives miles and miles to get that sweater back to her, no matter what Rigby says. But when he sees her at school and realizes that she's happy and not stressing like he's been, he tosses the sweater in the trash. This should signify that he's letting her go finally. But you notice how I said should, right? In comes the... But the thing about that is, it's still Mordecai nonsense, but it's Mordecai and Margaret nonsense at this point. She's now the catalyst making everything garbage. Mordecai isn't blameless, but Margaret knew exactly what she was doing. So surprise, Margaret's moved back, and yeah, things are pretty awkward. Honestly, what happened at the Christmas party was 110% Mordecai's fault, but Margaret isn't blameless because she knew he had a girlfriend. There didn't need to be any physical contact at all here. Things only get worse from there. Why is she calling him after she just had a hand in fucking up his relationship? How in the hell could Mordecai possibly think her talking to CJ would fix it? Then they hug again? Y'all have learned nothing. Get out of my face. It's a mystery that CJ forgave him at all. Then there was a 1000th chopper flight party where Margaret says she just wants things to not be weird and to go back to normal. No accountability or reflection whatsoever. I don't know why she hates CJ so much. After CJ does end up showing up to the party and seeing them together, she's obviously upset because they really can't leave each other alone. Jesus Christ. Margaret's terrified, so she just yells that she has a boyfriend. But here's the thing about that. Mordecai is sad to hear that. Mordecai is disappointed to hear that Margaret has a boyfriend. Suspicious reaction. Turns out she lied though, and we find that out when CJ proposes a double date as an apology. She just couldn't fake it to make it. Which, again, pisses CJ off. Damn near every time CJ is in Margaret's presence, she's doing something that could be considered inappropriate with Mordecai. The reason for that is Margaret's still having feelings for Mordecai. That's really what she meant by going back to normal. That's why she was hanging around Mordecai so much. To Mordecai's credit though, he does put CJ first in that situation. Mordecai and CJ break up a bit after this though, because he just couldn't be normal for 10 seconds. We only see them together twice after all this drama, but at least they put whatever they were to rest in the episode Just Friends. Rigby, Eileen, Mordecai, and Margaret make plans for laser tag, but Rigby's brother Don had a Taekwondo black belt ceremony, so Rigby and Eileen go to that instead. After a sidebar with their respective besties, Margaret's with whatever. But since the whole fiasco with the double date happened, with Margaret confessing her feelings, Mordecai is a bit on edge. What else is new, honestly? They try to hang out as just friends, but every time they turn around, there's a romantic situation set up. No matter how unromantic the activity is, it's turned that way. Heavily forced. They end up at a hibachi place where the chef meets the two and is immediately over whatever they got going on. So real for that. He makes the night as romantic as possible, and they finally ask the "what are we" question. The chef shows them their possible future, complete with nuclear family and relaxing retirement, but Mordecai and Margaret basically say, absolutely the fuck not, and agree that they should just stay friends. We see that they stick to this in snow tubing, where there's no weird tension or anything. Just regular people hanging out with each other. 5.5? I don't think they're good for each other romantically, but as just friends, legitimately this time, they could be okay. But their communication is abysmal. They have to be forced to talk to each other or forced to make their intentions clear. Then they make it everyone else's problem. Mostly Mordecai, but you know. I can't stand Margaret, and I can only stand Mordecai when he's behaving like a normal citizen. Just my opinion though, so if you like them together, more power to you. But what do y'all think? What other ships do you want me to explore? Let me know in the comments below. Cocoa Cosmos, arr!